All right, well, hello again, Fish-A-Lots, and welcome to another edition of Fishing with Johnny Fish-A-Lot. So today, we're just pier fishing. I have about an hour away from work. It's late in the day, as you can see. The sun's going down, beautiful sunset. We're out on the docks, and super simple rig setup here, right? Just a simple high-low rig. Right here, we're gonna fish with fish bites, which is that right there, a bloodworm scent, and probably catch some croakers, some toadfish, and whatever else wants to bite. All right, so first tip of the day here is don't keep your rod in the water fishing and you walk away from your rod. That rod right there on the pier, even the smallest fish hitting that thing is enough to take that rod and put it right into the drink. So there you go, there's a quick tip from Fishing with Johnny Fish-A-Lot. It's just not a great idea. And so you notice here with these fish bites, they stay on the hook really well, and you'll see right here, they could just catch a lot of fish. You don't have to rebait often, you don't have to spend a lot of time cutting bait, and when you only have about 30 minutes to fish, or an hour after work to fish, this is really a good bait selection because it allows you to just keep your lines in the water and catch these fish like you see here, this little baby sea bass. So once the sun goes down on this pier, you're not allowed to fish. So we literally got done work, me and my friend Eric, and then we hit the dock and just, got our lines wet and had a little bit of fun. Is that dinner? And there's my friend Eric right there. He just heard me say, hey, did you catch dinner? And, we're joking around because he just caught himself a little spot. And again, those are great bait for fish, for larger fish. So if we actually had a little bit more time, Eric would be catching that spot and I'd be putting him on a big circle hook and trying to get myself a striper or a redfish off this dock. So that's really a great segue into my next point here about just bringing somebody fishing that doesn't typically fish. A lot of times we get so worked up in trying to catch trophy fish, the big fish, we lose sight of the fact that some fish-a-lots out there really do enjoy fishing, but they don't get to do it very often. And so Eric is one of those folks, and he was just excited to get anything on the line, and we were catching spot, we were catching some yellow perch, and he even caught a toadfish. And that's the great thing, for a fish-a-lot, if you catch a toadfish, that's kind of like a nuisance fish, but for somebody who's never seen one before, it's an absolutely incredible looking thing. Let's talk about some rigging, and here in front of you, of course, is the high-low rig. This is exactly what I'm fishing with in today's episode, and I absolutely love this rig. This is a hugely versatile rig. You could use it in freshwater, saltwater, piers, jetties, in the surf, off of bridges, basically anywhere where fish are going to bite a piece of bait, you could use a high-low rig. And it's very easy to tie. I'm going to show you exactly how to tie it right now. But first, let me show you the components. So first, the top of the rig is your swivel. Again, this is a high-low rig. So then you're going to have your high hook, which is going to be further off the bottom here. And that's tied on with a dropper loop knot. And then, of course, you're going to have your low hook, which again is tied on with the dropper loop knot. And that'll go down to your weight, which I secure with either a surgeon's loop knot or a figure 8 knot. And if you would like to know all these loop knots, I'll leave a link in the description below of videos that I did for a surgeon's loop knot, a figure of 8 knot, the pros and cons with each, and feel free to check those out. So without further ado, let's get into the rigging. And all right, let's get to actually tying this rig. So I'm gonna start from the bottom, and this is gonna be where I'm gonna put my weight. So quite frankly, I'm just gonna use a surgeon's loop knot. I'm just going to fold my line over just like that, and then I'm going to make a second loop just like that. So you should start with something like that. You got your second loop and your first loop. I'm going to pass my first loop through the second loop 2 times, and it's going to be pretty easy. 1, 2, and that's it. That's your surgeon's loop knot. So all you do now is you tighten it up. And there you go, you're ready to go. This is where your weight is going to go. So to apply the weight, there you go. This is just a 4-ounce regular old sinker. You're just gonna put the line through, put the loop around the weight, just like that. And there you go, you're secured. That's going to be your weight. If you wanna swap out your weight, all you're gonna do is open up that loop that you just created there, put the weight back through the knot, and you can adjust your weight and the depth in which you're fishing just like that. And if you watch any of my videos, I recommend, I'll put a link in all of them below. you'll know that the depth in which you fish is so important to keep your bait or your lure or whatever you're using in that strike zone so that you could trigger those bites. And this makes it super easy to vary your weight. I could go heavier, I could go lighter in order to keep my baits in the strike zone. So that's the first step, and that's a surgeon's loop knot. Next, you're gonna go up your leader about 6 inches or so. It depends how closely you want to fish to the bottom, and you're gonna create a dropper loop knot. And to do a dropper loop knot, all you're gonna do is fold your line over and grab it with your 2 middle fingers just like that. You're gonna have the 2 top ends of your line. You can make an X just like that, and you're gonna start to twist them. There you go. You can do about 5 wraps, 6, 7, doesn't really matter. If ever you're in doubt of how many wraps to do, a good rule of thumb is 5 to 7 is usually a pretty safe bet. So I don't know how many that is. I kind of lost count. That's definitely between 5 to 7. And you can open up that loop right there that you made with your index finger and your thumb. So there you go. You open it up and you should see the line, your main line on the bottom. You're just going to grab it and pull it through just like that. Now, at this point, I should grab this with my teeth and pull it tight. But for the purposes of the video, I'm going to see if I can't do it with my fingers. And there you can see the knot is cinching. And there you go. So it should look just like that, and it's actually going to cinch without me using my teeth. Using your teeth is much easier. I'd recommend it. But quite frankly, you just tighten that down, and there you have a dropper loop knot. And that's where your hooks are going to go. So there's your dropper loop knot. You're going to make a second knot. Now you can make as many dropper loop knot and hook connections as you want. Just make sure you consult with your state laws and regulations. You know, sometimes they limit the amount in which you could put hooks on a rig. So for this one, I'm going to use my teeth just because it's easier. There we go. That was me with line in my mouth, and there's your second dropper loop knot. And then at the top, again, it just depends how far up you want to go. You're just going to create another surgeon's loop knot to attach the swivel, and you are done. So there you go. There's my first knot, first loop, second loop. Going to pass this through 2 times, and that's where your swivel goes. And there you go. Tighten that up. There's your high-low rig, folks. And hey, if you're getting value out of this video, make sure to smash that thumbs up, that like button, or scroll that mouse gently over that like button and click it so that this video could share to more fish-a-lots out there that need helpful tips and tricks in order to maximize their time out on the water and catch more fish. All right, let's get back to the fishing. And so another little quick tip here, if you are fishing with somebody who doesn't fish a lot, use them to catch your bait. So here's a little spot I'm going to catch. They are a fun fish. They hit hard, they fight hard, and they're great on light gear, but they make for excellent bait for fish like striper. So if you're fishing with your buddy, have him catch those, hand them to you, you put them on the hook, and then you'll be fishing for the bigger fish while your friend or maybe your family members are entertained with constantly catching fish like this little spot here. And this is a great way to do it. Just get yourself some small hooks. Oh, there we go again. And so you saw me catch one other fish just like this, and this is a yellow perch. This is a protected species in Virginia where I'm fishing here today, and so you have to be as careful as possible when you unhook them and let all of them go, of course. And alright, fish-a-lots, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit these end cards here where I share more helpful tips and tricks so that you can maximize your time out on the water and catch more fish.